Welcome, guys. Welcome to XET 2025 live analysis. Uh, Today, we will be looking at the test structure. We will also look at the topic-wise breakdown for each and every section. And the most important thing towards the ending, be with us so that you know what will be the expected cutoff for this year. Now, quickly, the test structure for BCom and BMS. You had 30 questions in general knowledge and current affairs. 30 questions were in maths and DI combined data interpretation. 25 questions in logical and visual reasoning and critical analysis. 15 questions only in English language. Total, you had 100 questions. The total time limit was 120. There was no sectional time limit. So you could easily decide how much time you want to spend in a particular section. Then the total marking scheme was +1 for every correct answer, and there was no negative marking. So now again, this paper today, the interface was kind of glitchy for many students. Many students were reporting that while they were going to and fro between the paper, they were not able to quickly navigate into the questions. The first 30 questions were GK for all of you, but then after that, students were reporting that they could find some logical question inside mathematics or some mathematics question inside logical. Few English questions were part of critical and then again English. The reason of this confusion was because there was verbal reasoning which was asked inside logical section and students confused it as English language. But overall, I think that the questions were in order only, starting with 30 GK, then 30 quants, then 25 logical and visual, and 15 English language. Now, let us quickly look at each and every section. Mathematics and DI. For arithmetic, there were 4 to 5 questions where percentages, profit and loss, and SICI were having mixed of them. Again, the paper was not same for everybody. Some students got 0 question on profit and loss, whereas some students got 2 questions on profit and loss. Some students encountered 3 questions on SICI, and some students encountered 0 questions on SICI. So again, repeating, the paper was not same for everyone. The questions on SICI were asked on the lines of simple interest was given for, let us say the total amount on a simple interest scheme for 2 years was given. Then the scheme, if ran for 5 years, what would be the total amount? Then they were asking you to find the original principal. For percentages, a student reported encountering this question where there was an initial quantity, there was a percentage increase and decrease in subsequent years, and they were asking you what was the net percentage change after that particular percentage change. Then some students reported 1 to 2 questions on ratio proportions. A particular student also encountered 2 questions on averages. Then there was one student who said that they had 0 questions on time speed distance. Then we had one more student saying they had 3 questions on time speed distance. One student encountered 2 questions on time and work, two on time speed distance. So overall, you could expect 5 to 6 questions on this section. Again, the questions on time and work were very direct. If you would have solved your class exercise and practice exercise of IMS, I'm pretty sure you would have you could have solved each and every question. In this, very important again for time and work, the fourth type of questions where you have to take the LCM, where there was a person A given who could complete the particular work in 8 days. Person B could complete the same work in 16 days. If both of them are working together, how much time will they take? This kind of questions were asked, which were very straightforward. In geometry, all the students have encountered minimum 3 to maximum 4 questions on circles. Some of the questions were very direct, where they were asking you questions which was based on two sequence intersecting externally. The length of 3 paths was given, one part was unknown, and you have to just cross multiply and get your answer. In algebra, students have encountered a mix of linear and quadratic equations. Modern math, probability, and PNC, there were very few questions in that. Again, probability, one student encountered a question where there was a six-spaced dice given, but the six spaces did not have numbers 1 to 6. There were three faces having number 1. two faces having number 2, and one face having number 3. And then accordingly, they were asking you to calculate the probability. Sequence and series again was asked in modern math, and there was questions where you had to find out, like the 5 numbers were given and the sixth term in the particular series. There was also a student who encountered a series where there were 2 and 3 numbers given, and in between one number was not known. So you have to identify the pattern and get the answer. One student also encountered 2 to 3 questions on statistics. Again, they were easier questions. They were asking you mean, median, and mode. DI was very heavy. Out of 30 questions, 12 to 15 questions were on data interpretation. In that, pie chart, line, and bar graph, all three were asked. On each of the set, students were encountering 4 to 5 questions. Now, this sets, one student has reported finding a set which was based on profit and loss. So you need to again have a good knowledge of your arithmetic to solve this data interpretation set. Then one student reported having averages in this. Mathematics and DI was easy to moderate. You could have easily made 26 to 27 genuine attempts, and a good score for this section out of 30 was 23 plus. Now, coming to logical reasoning. There were questions on puzzles, which were in the form of series. There were questions in visual reasoning. Then there were questions on symbol-based logic, where it was written as plus is actually multiplication, division is actually subtraction, and so on. Visual reasoning again was something where some students encountered 2 questions, some also encountered 4, but then there were students who got 0 questions on visual reasoning. So there are chances that you may not encounter visual reasoning at all in your paper. Now, series, there were again 4 to 5 questions. Some students got alphanumeric series, some students got only numeric series. Arrangements was very heavy in logical reasoning. You had hexagonal, circular, and square arrangement sets. So again, it was not your simple linear or circular arrangement. You also had hexagonal and square. Students have reported that it was very lengthy. There were almost 30 to 35 lines of instructions and conditions given. So accordingly, you had to take your like you have to spend time on this. There was one more issue with the arrangements where the questions on a particular set were not in a particular order. So in hexagonal arrangement, you could first find the first question. Then there were 2 to 3 standalone questions on some other topics of logical reasoning. Then again, a question on that hexagonal arrangement. So it was kind of time consuming, and it increased the level of difficulty because you had to again and again go back to the same arrangement. Verbal reasoning, you had statement, argument, statement and assumption, cause, effect, statement, conclusion. Students have also encountered syllogisms, and there are some students who did not get a single question on syllogisms. In total, you could expect 12 to 15 questions on verbal reasoning. Now, this section was reported as the most difficult in relative manner, but overall difficulty of the section was moderate. Genuine attempts out of 25, because you had so much time, could have been 22 to 23. Good score was 20 plus. Now, coming to English language, you had reading comprehension. Again, you did not have 3 to 4 questions on a single RC. There were standalone passages and paragraphs which were, let us say, 4 to 6, maximum 10 lines long. And on that, there were questions given. Some students did not get a single passage and a question on RC. Some students have gotten 3 to 4 questions. In this, very important, your antonyms and synonyms, there were 4 to 5 questions. There were 2 to 3 questions where you need to know the correct spelling of that particular word. So your vocabulary would help you get 4 to 7 marks very easily in this. Grammar, there were 5 to 6 questions on direct and indirect speech. Every single student has reported of finding out direct and indirect in their paper. Parts of speech, again, there were 1 to 2 questions. Overall, out of 15 questions, there were easy 13 questions. You could have made 14 attempts also based on your vocabulary knowledge. And a good score for this section was 12 plus. Now, coming to GK and current affair, there were 10 to 12 questions out of 30 which were based on your static general knowledge. Now, when I say static general knowledge, the questions were who was the first Nobel Prize winner from India? They were also asking you that Walmart is the parent company of which Indian startup. Then there were also other questions where they were asking whether this particular government body is elected by whom and who is the head of that government body. Then there were majority questions on current affairs. In this, there were questions which were based on businesses, technology development. There was also question on the GDP growth rate, which was asked to the student. So overall, if you would have read your IMS GK compendium, on the portal, I'm pretty sure you could have answered out of 30 bare minimum 20 to 22 questions. So having a good knowledge of this would help you again get 24 to 26 genuine attempts in this section, and a good score of 23 plus was possible. This section is again easy to moderate if you have not read your current affairs. Now, overall, XCT was a easy to moderate paper. You had simple calculator allowed, which is the reason why you could have calculated those DI sets very quickly, and this would have been an easy paper for you. There was 100 questions, 120 minutes, no negative marking. So again, you had too much time for every question. So you could have made 80 to 85 genuine attempts. If you have given IMS XET mocks, then pretty sure you could have increased your genuine attempts to 90 as well. 80 plus is a good score for this particular paper. Now, next very important thing, what is the expected cutoff? Expected cutoffs is in the form of composite score. You need to realize that the composite scores are calculated where 60% weightage is given to your XCT scores and 40% weightage is given to your 12th course. Based on this, out of 100, you get a composite score. Now, this expected cutoffs are based on the past year trends, how the paper was this year, also what were the HSA results which are already out. In this, your general category student who has appeared for HSC board, the composite score should be close to 74. For students who are in general category but has written any other board apart from HSC state board, it should be 80. For Christian minority, HSC 67, Christian minority other boards 70. Students with disabilities, the cutoff for composite score will be 57. For special category, it will be 73. Now, since your HSC scores are already out, so you know that out of this 40%, how much are you scoring? Accordingly, you have to calculate for the remaining 60% and you can back calculate that out of your particular 100 of XCT, what would be a good scope for you to secure an admission for BMS in Xavier's College. Again, students, very important instruction. If you log in into your XCT portal, now you have an option to update your HSC scores and you have to update the screenshot of your mark sheet. Make sure that you are doing that because failing to do so will lead to disqualification of your candidature and you will not be considered in the final merit list calculation. So make sure that today itself you are updating your HSC 12th board marks on the particular XCT portal. Again, if you have any doubts, you can put it in your chat section. I have few minutes to spare and I can help you with those answers. My BMM. Mahi, regarding BMM, we'll soon again release a video about the expected cutoff as well as what will be the test structure. So you can connect tomorrow for BMM. Again, students, thank you for joining. Make sure to subscribe to our BBA YouTube channel so that you are constantly updated. Soon we will be having a discussion on BMM as well. Again, we have analysis for other examinations also available on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you're watching that. Tomorrow we will be coming live with the SET round 2 analysis. If you're writing SET tomorrow, make sure to see the SET round 1 analysis video on our YouTube channel. And in the coming week, make sure to join our IPMAT indoor live analysis for the expected cutoffs, what will be, or how was the paper, and what will be the next steps after your examinations are over. Thank you so much for connecting.